Your dog looked at you today. Not the way they look at their food bowl. Not the way they look at the door when they need a walk. They looked at you the way they look at something they are not sure they can reach. And you probably did not notice. Most owners never do. Because what your dog was doing in that moment was not random. It was not a habit. It was a signal. And by the time this video is over, you will never be able to unsee it again. Welcome to PLOS Chronicles, where we go beneath the surface of the bond you share with your dog. Today we are uncovering 5 distress signals your dog sends every single day that most owners walk right past. And the 5th one, the one I am saving for last, may be the most heartbreaking thing you learn about your dog today. Stay until the end. It will change everything. You have seen your dog do this 1,000 times and never thought twice about it. They finish an interaction, a hug, a cuddle, a visit from someone new, and then they shake. Their whole body shudders from nose to tail, like they just stepped out of a bath. You probably smiled. You probably thought nothing of it at all. But Norwegian dog behaviorist Rugaas, whose decades of research gave us the foundational understanding of how dogs communicate stress, identified the full body shake as one of the clearest reset signals in a dog's entire vocabulary. Your dog is not just shaking off water or loosening their muscles. They are shaking off an experience. They are physically releasing tension that built up during something that made them uncomfortable, overstimulated, or emotionally taxed. Think about the last time a child held your dog a little too long, a little too tight. Or the last time a stranger leaned in close and patted their head without asking. Your dog endured it. They were polite. They stayed still. And the moment it was over, they shook. That shake was your dog exhaling for the first time in minutes. The next time you see that shake, stop and ask yourself what just happened right before it. Because your dog just told you something important, and now you know how to hear it. And what comes next is something your dog does that most people read as affection. But it carries a completely different message than you think. Picture this. You take your dog somewhere new, the vet, a busy park, a friend's house full of unfamiliar smells and sounds. And your dog yawns. Repeatedly. Wide, theatrical yawns that seem almost comical given everything going on around them. You think, how can they possibly be tired right now? But they are not tired. Not even close. In 2013, researchers Romero, Konno, and Hasegawa at the University of Tokyo published findings showing that dogs yawn in direct response to social and emotional pressure, not fatigue. The yawn is a self-soothing mechanism. It is your dog's nervous system doing everything it can to bring itself down from a state of overstimulation. It is the canine equivalent of taking a long, slow breath when the world feels like too much. When your dog yawns repeatedly in a new or overwhelming environment, they are not bored and they are not tired. They are working hard to stay regulated. They are managing an internal storm with the only tools they have. What you can do in those moments is simple and profound. Move them to a quieter spot. Give them space. Let them decompress. That small act of awareness is one of the most loving things you can offer your dog. Because they were asking for it, in the only language they have. Now here is where things get really interesting, because this next signal is something your dog does specifically for you. And almost no one understands what it truly means. Your dog's head is turned slightly away from you. But their eyes have drifted sideways. You can see the white crescent at the outer corner of their eye, that pale sliver that is not usually visible at all. It is subtle. It lasts only a second or two. Most people miss it entirely. But what they just witnessed is one of the most important signals in your dog's entire emotional vocabulary. This is what behaviorists call whale eye, and it is your dog communicating discomfort at a level that sits just one step below a growl on what researchers call the stress escalation ladder. Veterinary behaviorist Kendall Shepard's work on canine stress signals identified whale eye as a critical early warning, a moment where your dog is saying clearly, I am not okay with what is happening right now, but I am still trying to hold it together. It happens most often during physical contact your dog did not invite. A hand reaching for their face. Someone leaning directly over them. A child getting too close too fast. Your dog turns their head in an attempt to create distance while the whites of their eyes reveal exactly how hard that restraint is costing them. When you see whale eye, the most important thing you can do is create space immediately. Not because your dog is dangerous. Because they trusted you enough to ask before things got harder. Honor that trust. But what we are about to cover next is something so tied to your dog's daily emotional life that missing it has consequences that build quietly over weeks and months. You put the bowl down in the same spot you always do. Your dog walks over, sniffs, and then, nothing. They back away. They lie down nearby but they do not eat. You check the food. Same brand, same amount, same time of day. Nothing has changed. Except something has. And your dog knows exactly what it is. Veterinary behaviorist Dr. Karen Overall, in her landmark clinical work on canine stress responses, identified appetite suppression as one of the clearest physiological markers of a dog experiencing significant anxiety. And researcher Bearda and colleagues found in their 1998 study that dogs exposed to chronic low-level stressors showed measurable behavioral changes, including reluctance to eat in their usual environment, long before any other outward sign of distress appeared. Your dog refusing food in their safe, familiar space is not a stomach issue in most cases. It is an emotional one. Something in their world, a tension they felt in the home, a change in your routine, a sound that has been frightening them, has crossed a threshold where even appetite cannot override it. Do not simply try a different food. Sit with them. Be present. Ask yourself what has shifted in their environment recently. Your dog is telling you something has changed, and they need you to look for what it is. And nothing we have covered today comes close to what I saved for last. Because this final signal does not look like distress at all. It looks like the opposite. I promised you at the start of this video that the fifth signal would change the way you see your dog. And I meant it. Because this one does not look like distress. It looks like devotion. It looks like the thing you love most about having a dog. Your dog follows you everywhere. Every single room. Every single time. The moment you stand up, they are on their feet. The moment you sit down, they are pressed against you. You have always called them your shadow. You have always smiled about it. You have told people, that is just how much my dog loves me. And they do love you. Completely. But researchers Flanagan and Dodman, in their 2001 study on canine separation anxiety and attachment behavior, found that hyperattachment shadowing, the compulsive need to maintain constant physical proximity to one person, is one of the primary behavioral expressions of separation anxiety, a condition rooted in chronic low-level fear. Your dog is not following you out of pure joy. They are following you because the thought of you disappearing, even into the next room, triggers a fear response they cannot control. Topol and colleagues at the Hungarian Academy of Sciences established that dogs form deep secure base attachments to their owners. But when that attachment becomes the only thing standing between your dog and panic, that is not security anymore. That is a dog who has learned that the world is only safe when you are in it. That is a dog who carries quiet fear as their constant companion. And they have been carrying it right beside you, every single day, without you ever knowing. You can help them. Gradually, gently, building their confidence in small moments of independence. Letting them discover that your absence is temporary and always ends in your return. The shadow does not have to be born from fear. With patience, it can become what you always believed it was, a choice made purely from love. Your dog has been sending you these signals every single day, the shake, the yawn, the sideways eye, the untouched bowl, the shadow at your heels. Now you can see every single one. Tell me in the comments, which of these 5 signals does your dog show most? I read every one. If this helped you understand your dog a little more deeply, share it with someone who loves their dog the way you love yours. And if you think this was surprising, our next video uncovers something even more extraordinary about what your dog feels the moment you walk through that door. See you there.